Hi, today I want to talk about another book. It's called Don't Keep Your Day Job. And there's a podcast called Don't Keep Your Day Job by the same lady that wrote this book. It's really good. In each episode, she has someone who has turned something that they like doing or something that they're passionate about into their full-time job, which is amazing. Have I turned my writing into full-time publishing? into an amazing number one selling author? No, not yet. But one day. So I bought this book and it's really good. She is really helpful. Her podcast is, I think you'll really enjoy her podcast if you aren't into reading books or you find it hard to read books. Some really good advice. Let's see what it says here. Oh, I listened to this book. Sorry, there's a comment here by an author called Alex Bananian. He achieved a lot to write his books. Well, the one book, I think he's writing the other one, I could be wrong. But definitely the one book called The Third Door. I listened to it on Audible. It is really good. His story is amazing. He said, Heller has a message more timely than ever. Now's the time to go after your dreams, because the only person's permission you need is your own. He's right. Let's see if it says more. It says, How to Turn Your Passion into Your Career by Cathyheller. In the book and in the podcast, she talks about her story as a singer. Now, she wanted to be like a singer with like loads of hit singles and an amazing album, but it didn't quite work out for her that way. She used that to her advantage, and then she has a business that helps other singers, and I know there's one other thing. I thought she does a course as well, but I'm not 100% sure. You can Google her, I'm sure. Her blog will pop up. I'll try to find it and link it for you in the description box and her podcast. This is what it says about the book, the blurb. The pursuit of happiness is all about finding our purpose. We don't want to just go to work and build someone else's dream. We want to do our life's work. But how do you find out what we're supposed to contribute? What are those key ingredients that push those who succeed to launch their ideas high into the sky, while the rest of us remain stuck on the ground? Don't Keep Your Day Job will get you fired up, ready to rip it open and use your zone of genius to add a little more sparkle to this world. Cathyheller, host of the popular podcast Don't Keep Your Day Job, shares wisdom, anecdotes, and practical suggestions from successful creative entrepreneurs and experts, including actress Jenna Fisher on doing the work, Gretchen Rubin on the keys to happiness, Jen Sincero, I'm trying to pronounce that name, on having your best badass life, and so much more. You'll learn essential steps like how to build your side hustle, how to find your tribe, how to reach for what you truly deserve, and how to and how to ultimately turn your passion into profit and build a life you love. So I came across this book on Instagram from an Instagrammer that I really like. Got bad fringe days last couple of days. Not to leave it. Anyway, and I thought, you know what? I don't want to be working for someone else for the rest of my life, so I do want to be writing full time and making a good living from it, so I crossed my fingers and my toes and bought the book. And I feel like now I need to read it more than ever with the pandemic and most of us being quarantined. So I'm going to read you a few things on the contents, just because I found there's some really interesting things that I think you'll find. Let me rephrase that. I think you'll find some really interesting chapters in this book. So the first one's called Don't Keep Your Day Job, and that's when she talks about her life, I think. It was a little while ago that I read it. A second chapter, the path and the process. 3. Trust you will be led. 4. Your mess is your message. She talks about the messy middle, or being messy, as in through the process of, or the journey into being successful at whatever you're doing. There will be areas along that path where it will seem quite messy and out of control, and things will be successful one day and maybe there won't be another day. Permission to create. I think that's quite an important one. Build the runway, grow your tribe. Expand your influence, understanding your targets and end buyers. This chapter really opened my eyes on what she really meant by your understanding your target and end buyers. I was like, that really makes some sense. Learning to restore, how to teach and podcast, align with abundance, build to soar. And then at the end she writes what inspires me. Let's see if I can find something about her here. This is quite an interesting quote from the first chapter, Don't Keep Your Day Job. The opposite of depression is not happiness. The opposite of depression is purpose. I found that quite interesting. Talks about her life and how she found music and how it became her passion. Trying to find one specific thing. Yeah, I found it. I'm going to read a couple of chapters. This is page 10. I was also born with an innate stubbornness to live and experiment and lead. My husband says I have the will of a small country. I wrote songs for 3 years straight, some better than others, and I finally secured that fabled record deal with Interscope. I sat in the recording studio, wearing my sleekest pair of True Religion jeans, watching veteran A&R executive and record producer Ron Fair record Lady Gaga's Paparazzi, and I thought to myself, I made it, I'm here. I felt like I reached the promised land, Starbucks order hand-delivered by an intern and all. There was a quiet part of myself that felt like I was trying too hard to be someone else. I shushed that voice real quick, promising myself, this is it, you will do it, and this will be your life. I was driving Wallace's car through Santa Monica 3 months later when I got a phone call from my producer. He asked me to pull over. We're going to drop you from the label, he said. Silence. Look, he said, not unkindly, you have nice songs. It's Michelle Branch meets Natalie Merchant meets Sheryl Crow. They're conversational, but they are not pop sensations. We're not sure if you can do this new wave of what's hot on the radio. You have talent, but we just can't take the chance. That's hard. It was soul crushing. I felt like I'd met the Wizard of Oz only to find out that he had no power. I erased my dream of a music career and went in search of a new identity. I'm going to stop there. So amazing how she got herself from there to now. And I'm definitely going to have to read this book. Stay safe, stay healthy. I hope you give this book a chance or the podcast. I think you'll enjoy either or. And I'll speak to you next time. Bye.